Good evening. My name is John Kraft. I live in Warren, town of Warren. So I have office here in Hudson. So I definitely am in the camp of calling this thing out for what it is, which is a complete power grab. This is not about COVID. This is about control. And rather than talk about all the details and argue, do masks work, do not masks not work, the clinical details, let's just take a look at the ordinance itself. And as a couple of other gentlemen have asked earlier, what exactly is the goal here? I mean, what will it accomplish should you vote it in? But first, I'd really like to understand exactly on the city council, whose agenda item is this? Who are the council members who are asking for this to come up for a vote?
It was Joyce, I believe Joyce and Sarah. Is that right?
Yes.
Good, you're still
I'm
on.
part of that. I don't know if I think we're in the listening mode now for the folks who are going. I think we'll respond to questions when we get to discussion.
Well, this is the dialogue portion, is it not?
Yeah.
Well, we've been listening for 2.5 hours. We haven't had a chance to give.
Oh, that's what you're elected to do.
Right now, actually, this is almost like a public hearing that we're doing. So we're trying to hear the public out, and we will have a chance to respond when you guys are all done.
No, Paul, with all due respect, I'm running the meeting right now, and we have had interchange here with some of the other commentators, and I will continue to allow that.
Then I will say that I am in favor of a mask ordinance. I was one of the drafters of this in July, right before the governor came out and put the statewide mandate on. So I'm happy to take any questions as we get into it.
So Joyce Hall,
Yes.
just want to get clear on so we're talking 3 council members are the 3 that are pushing for this item to come up for a vote. I just want to know who we're going to work on getting voted out next time around.
Well, that's not what we're talking about here, but.
If I may, since I was one of the people, I'd like to correct that. It's not that we were pushing for a mask ordinance. We wanted to have the conversation. I feel that it's important to us and to the constituents. We are the leaders. It's important for us to address this important topic of COVID and how it's affecting our community's health, our community's economy, and the people that work here. So therefore, I didn't want to feel as though we were putting our head in the sands and ignoring the topic. It is a real conversation. COVID is a real illness, and it's killing real people. And I felt that it was our duty to bring it up in a conversation and to hear from the constituents and from the people that visit and work in Hudson. So please don't assume that the desire for us to have the conversation means that we were particularly for or against an ordinance, but rather that we wanted to seek input and have the conversation.
Well, that's really interesting since there is actually a resolution and an ordinance on the table potentially for a vote tonight. So I find that a little bit disingenuous. I also find it really interesting that all the people who are pushing for this aren't in this room. You don't have the guts to come and face your citizens. What's up with that? If masks work so well, why aren't you here?
I have people at my house that are compromised. If I brought any virus home to them and caused them a fatality, I would not be able to live with myself. I have 4 people who are elderly, and I just cannot risk bringing anything home. That's why I can't go to a public meeting in person.
So let's shift gears a little bit. Thank you for that. Let's talk about the content of the ordinance itself. Number one, I'm trying to figure out what its actual purpose is, since it's got no enforceability whatsoever, even says so right in the document. Really, the only item that relates to any enforcement is that businesses are expected to throw people out who refuse to wear masks, and then get a trespassing ticket if they don't. So what happens to a business if they choose to not throw people out? Is there any ramifications for that? No, none. So what can the possible motive behind putting this particular ordinance in place be? It's certainly not about COVID. It's about creating more havoc in the community. That's what it's about. It's about a group of people pushing a progressive agenda, and I agree with the other folks, into the upcoming election, and to promote the chaos through the election. Because clearly it's not about the disease. It's not. It can't be. This thing has no teeth. It's not going to improve safety one iota because it's not enforceable. All it is a power play. So I personally will not comply. So if that means Jeff Willems or one of his guys has to give me a ticket, I'll accept it. I'm suing the governor over this very issue. I am one of 3 people who are on the suit pushing against Tony Evers' illegal second state of emergency on the same emergency. And we are fighting that on 2 grounds. Number 1, that he doesn't have the authority to declare the second emergency. Number 2, it's straight up unconstitutional. So should the council here choose to move this thing forward and at some point it gets any teeth, it's just as unconstitutional as anything that the state or county is trying to do. So basically, I agree with the other 2 gentlemen. People around here have had enough. That was my event up at Jethro's Big Guys Barbecue last weekend. And we had lots and lots of people out there who are fed up and have had enough. And I fall squarely into that camp. So I won't take any more time. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.